Hello everyone and welcome to this Moodle tutorial. In this tutorial, you will be able to learn how to add a quiz activity in Moodle. From the Moodle course page, click the Actions or Settings menu and click Turn Editing on. Select the section where you'd like to put the quiz activity and then click Add an Activity or Resource. The Add an Activity or Resource window will be displayed. Under Activities, select the quiz and then click the Add button. And now, the quiz activity settings page will be displayed. Supply the name of the quiz. For example, it's quiz 3. And then your instructions to your students or the description of the quiz. You may click Expand All. On the timing sections, you are allowed to set when the quiz to be opened and when it will be closed. So you may just click the Enable checkbox or check it, and then you may now choose the date and time of the quiz. So when it will be opened and when it will be closed. You may also impose time limit for the quiz. You may check Enable and input the time here. It can be in minutes, in weeks, days, hours, or seconds. When time expires, there are three options. The first option is open attempts are submitted automatically. Second is there is a grace period when open attempts can be submitted but no more questions answered. When you choose this option, automatically there will be a setting for submission grace period, and it allows you to select the grace period in weeks, days, hours, minutes, or seconds. The third option for when time expires is attempts must be submitted before time expires or they are not counted. So I'll just select the first option. And on grade section, for the grade category, we have no other categories. For the grade to pass, you can put the score here or the passing score for this particular quiz. But if you have no definite number of items for now, you can just leave it blank. For the attempts allowed, a quiz can be unlimited attempt or one attempt only or more than one attempt. So you can choose from here. For the grading method, if the attempts allowed that you have selected is unlimited or more than one quiz attempts, then there will be the grading method setting here. So what will be recorded on the gradebook would be a highest grade or the average grade or the grade of the first attempt or the grade of the last attempt. For the layout, new page by default is every section. So this means that there will be one question per page to be displayed on the quiz, or you can make it 2 questions per page or 3 or 10 or all sections on one page. On Show More, when you click this one, for the navigation method, the settings by default is free, but you can choose sequential. So free means that a student can jump from one question to another question and go back to the previous questions. So that is free navigation. While the sequential is strictly sequential, this means that the students should answer the quiz in every item sequentially. There is no, they are not allowed to go back to the previous quiz questions. Next, for the question behavior, by default is shuffle within questions. If, for example, there are questions with options like the multiple choice, the true or false, or the matching type, they are shuffled. So it is intended for prevention for cheating as well. If, for example, student A and student B are sitting beside each other, and when they will be prevented from cheating because they have different the options are shuffled even if the system has posted during the time the same question during the time that they access the quiz question or they got the question. Next, for the question behavior, again, for how questions behave by default is deferred feedback. So let's just use this. And the review options, there's the show more. All right, so that's all for the settings for the question behavior. For the review options, these are just the review options that can be seen by the students after they answered and closed the quiz. So they will be, for example, after close the quiz or the quiz is closed, uh, they will see the attempts, whether their answer is correct, their marks, their specific and general feedback, which is being set by the teacher as well, if the answer is right, and the overall feedback. So that in traditional settings, the student still asks the teacher how have he or she got the wrong answer when she knows or they know that it's the correct answer. So, so it prevents them from asking their professor because they have these review options already. For the appearance, show the user's picture. So it depends on the teacher whether he or she wants to show the user's picture. It can be a small or large. For me, I think it would be okay if you set, for example, a small image, especially if you have many students and you want to get familiarized with their faces, with your students. And then we have here the decimal places in grade. By default, it's 2. And decimal places in question grades, same as for overall grades. And for the settings, show black during quiz attempts. By default, it's no. So that there will be no other disturbances when your students or participants are taking the quiz. So it's fully the quiz questions that they can see on the screen, and there are no other blocks. For extra restrictions, you can set a password for your quiz. So you should give it to your students before they take the quiz. Also, require network address. You can if you want to ensure that your students can only get their quiz on a specific location, so you just put here the IP address or the subnet mask of the network. Next, enforce delay between first and second attempts. So this means that the students are allowed to get their next attempt after, for example, I'll put here 60 minutes, or after 1 week or 1 day or how many hours. So it depends on the teacher or the professor. Enforce delay between later attempts. They can also do that by enabling the checkbox, and so right after the second attempt, um, after how many minutes or hours, days are they going to, can they get again the attempt? So it depends on the professor. For browser security, what's only the option here is full screen pop-up with some JavaScript security. This means that the quiz will only start if the student has a JavaScript enabled browser. The quiz appears in a full screen pop-up window that covers all the other windows and has no navigation controls. And students are prevented as far as is possible from using facilities like copy and paste. There are other available plugins in Moodle that um, allows you to have that allows you to make sure that it's your students who are really taking the quiz. So later on, I will share you that plugin. But if you install that plugin, some browser security plugins, then it will also be displayed in here. Next is allow quiz to be attempted offline. So this is for using the mobile app, and it should be enabled on the this should be enabled on the web services. So you may ask your administrator for it. For the grade boundary, for example, the student got 100%, you may put a feedback here, but this is optional. For example, 90%. So make sure that there is a percentage symbol. So for example, those are just my feedback. And then after that, I can just select the completion tracking, show activity as complete when conditions are met, and then only require view and required grade. Then after that, you may click save and return to course. So that's it. We have just added the quiz by setting the quiz. So if you want to add a quiz, it will be instructed on the next video tutorials. So that's all for the quiz activity in Moodle. Thank you.